one of the most recent, widespread, and fastest growing religions in the world. Welcome to History of the Baha'i Faith. But first, what is the Baha'i Faith? The Baha'i Faith is a worldwide and independent religion that believes in principles such as the oneness of humanity, independent investigation of the truth, that there is one God, elimination of all prejudice, equality of men and women, the harmony of science and religion, universal education, having a spiritual solution to economic problems, the universal auxiliary language, and universal peace upheld by a world federation. Baha'is also believe that all religions come from the same God and that they were devised specifically for what humanity needed most at that particular time and place. This is what we call progressive revelation. The Baha'i Faith is believed to be the newest religion with two manifestations of God. The Bab, which literally means the gate, as he was the forerunner and herald of Baha'u'llah, who founded the Baha'i Faith. The Bab was born on the 20th of October 1819 in Shiraz, Iran. He was a child when his father passed away, so he was raised by his uncle. The Bab's teacher quickly recognized his great capacity and realized he was incapable of teaching such a child who seemed to have an incomprehensible amount of knowledge. On the 23rd of May 1844, a young man arrived in Shiraz in search of the Promised One. There, the Bab declared that he was the one whose coming the people were so eagerly awaiting for. The Bab also announced that soon another messenger of God would appear who would unite all the people of the world as one family. The number of the Bab's followers quickly grew. Throughout all of Iran, they began to spread the teachings revealed by him. But soon, the government authorities and the clergy, who were afraid of the truth and didn't want to lose their power, rose up against the faith. They imprisoned the Bab in a fortress in a remote part of the country, and the Bab's followers suffered the most cruel persecution. They were attacked, beaten, and thrown into prison. Thousands were put into death, yet the cause of God continued to spread. In the year 1850, the Bab was martyred. At the order of the government, he was suspended in a courtyard together with one of his followers and shot by a regiment of soldiers. The Bab was only 31 years old. However, this led way for Baha'u'llah. Baha'u'llah was born in Tehran, Iran. One of the early signs of his destiny was when his father had a dream that Baha'u'llah was swimming in an ocean. His long black hair floated in all directions and a multitude of fish followed him, each holding on to the end of one hair. Yet he moved freely and unhindered. When he was older, he was offered a high position in the court of the king, but he refused it, as he wished to dedicate his time to helping the oppressed, the sick, and the poor. When he was 27 years old, Baha'u'llah received a scroll from the Bab, who was preparing the people for the coming of the Promised One of all ages. Baha'u'llah accepted the Bab's message and became one of his most enthusiastic supporters. Baha'u'llah was arrested in 1852 for his beliefs and put in chains in one of the most dreadful prisons of Tehran, known as the Black Pit. In these most dark days, God revealed to Baha'u'llah that he was the Promised One by the Bab and all of the prophets of the past. After 4 months of imprisonment, the government banished Baha'u'llah and his family, causing them to make a long, cold journey from Tehran to Baghdad. In Baghdad, the fame of Baha'u'llah's wisdom spread in all directions. People of every background crowded to his home, seeking his advice and help. The government, which was afraid of Baha'u'llah's influence, decided to banish him even farther from his homeland. Before leaving Baghdad, Baha'u'llah spent 12 days in a garden outside the city. This is where he proclaimed that he was a manifestation of God for this day. Baha'u'llah was then exiled to Constantinople and then Adrianople, both cities in today's Turkey. There, he sent letters to the kings and rulers of the world, bidding them to uphold justice and use their power to put an end to misery and war. Once again, Baha'u'llah's fame spread among the region. He was then sent to the prison city of Akka, where the worst criminals were sent. The conditions were extremely severe, but they gradually improved as the power of Baha'u'llah's words and deeds conquered the hearts of many. This allowed him to move to the mansion of Baha'i outside the city walls for the rest of his life. In May 1892, Mahola passed away. His resting place is now in Baha'i. In the present day, the Baha'i Faith has spread worldwide with around 8 million Baha'is and 9 temples, one in each continent. In each community around the world, 19-day feasts are held and programs such as the Ruhi and Junior Youth Program are implemented to strive towards a oneness of humanity. Thank you for listening. For more information, go to Baha'i.org.